Now, yes, cool. It worked. Fantastic. So, welcome back to the 2 versus Twournament, guys. Spawning here on the lower left side of the map, we have Team deadpixels, the second place finishers in the previous tournament, featuring True and his teammate Patience.
And it never writes as Team SuperSymbol. It's the green Zerg symbol, and the red Terran SuperNova.
Now, these guys actually got knocked out pretty quick last time. I don't think they played very poorly, but I definitely didn't feel like they had the same synergy a lot of these other teammates have had. It sounds silly to analyze this because it's kind of like going and talking about player states of mind, right, going into a series, but truth be told, you take a look at the way Crank and Heart complement each other, you take a look at the way SuperNova and Symbol played in the first tournament, and you can see very clearly there is that difference. Now, it's not like they've been training up and practicing for another 2v2 tournament, but hopefully there's a little bit more synergy this time, because True and Patience, they definitely had that synergy in that last tournament. They played incredibly well. They took Team APS to the finals not once but twice in a double elimination format, so I'm definitely feeling good for these two.
Yep, I would give them the lead here. I think they're going to win. Probably a 2-1, I would say, but still a win nonetheless. And, well, unless, like you said, SuperNova and Symbol have been working with each other.
Well, I'm actually, to explain what's going on with the rest of the brackets too, before we get too far into this game, guys, we will be casting both semifinals matches. So after this scheduled up, we have Team APS with Crank and Heart fighting against Tasia and Revival. But the winner of this series goes up against the scariest team in the tournament, apparently. Just recently 2-0'd MMA and Ryong. Big Boys advances to the semifinals with Parting and, of course, Soxry.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for a Big Boys versus APS finals.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool to see.
Who knows? Who knows? Now, the one thing that SuperNova and Symbol did, I mean, he talked about their lack of synergy, and that's certainly true, but they just didn't make their team composition look that strong, you know? Like, what Crank and Heart do is really nice. Crank goes to the early game, Heart gets the mid game, and Crank goes to the late game in most matches. Like, the last two have been really scrappy and, you know, very, very close, but in all their matches that seem to have gone their way, that was their plan.
Well, I think one of the things is it definitely felt like 2 players playing 1v1 incredibly well versus 2 players playing a 2v2, right? And I think when that's the case, overwhelming amounts of units are going to ruin your day. Doesn't matter how much of a hard counter you have if they got double the unit count.
Yes.
But we do have a Stargate coming out of Patience. And I don't know that this will necessarily go to the Phoenix game. I mean, it's probably going to open with an Oracle anyways. But again, kind of referencing back to that first tournament, a lot of Phoenix abuse turned out to be really powerful.
Yep. Of course, SuperNova sees all of this. He'll be expecting something that just needs missile turrets. And, well, Symbol can kind of easily get down Spore Crawlers.
Yeah, that kind of eats into the synergy point, though. You know, Crank, Hart was able to build missile turrets for himself, and Crank can't really cover each other.
We haven't cast a Terran Zerg team. You know, ZVZ, PZ.
Well, yeah, today, but yeah.
Well, didn't we? This is the only team that did that last time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just, like the TZ like pairing is actually supposed to be very good as far as I knew from 2v2s. Like Hellion Ling is supposed to be a very good composition. But, you know, 2v2s were never played that professionally, and especially usually not with Koreans as well. So it just doesn't, I actually don't find it that good looking, you know? And it might be the players, their lack of synergy, but it just seems like they're trying what seems like good ideas. Like one player goes for tanks, one player goes for mutas, and it's still not working.
Yeah. I suppose I could give a very special thank you to Kitty the Neko, just donated $30. The message didn't load, so I'll have to go to my email and read that out afterwards, but just let you know, donation received, and thank you, sir.
Well, we have a lot of Lings for Symbol, so Symbol might be adding the pressure while SuperNova goes ahead and macros up a little bit. So we do have some Hellion, so I just brought up Ling Hellion. Apparently a very good composition.
Yeah, this will work out pretty well. True's not going to be too well prepared to deal with this, and if there was an Oracle out of Patience at home, it looks like it will stay at home. This actually could work out quite well, because the Oracle will not only kill Banelings and whatnot, it will actually take out the Hellions pretty quickly, but getting quite a few drone kills on the other side of the map. Takes about 6 workers, but now they're going to have to deal with this heavy attack on the front lines, and the Queen gets surrounded immediately. Oracle is giving chase to the Hellions as predicted, but swapping the focus to the Banelings. It doesn't actually take the Banelings down too quickly.
Nope, Spine Crawler gets surrounded. A good Ling hits. The Banelings are about to pop. The Banelings gotta be careful. Oh, actually, it's picked up by a Phoenix. It's kind of a blessing. It's not gonna die. So there's no second Phoenix. Awkward.
But you know, the Hellions and threats kind of been shut down for the most part. The Banelings aren't really that numerous for Symbol. He's starting to get some more now of course, but they hold for a moment. But this breather, it's so energy dependent on what patience can really contribute to this. You can't grab anything up. You can't. Oh, that probe transfer.
Whoa! What a time the probe transfer. What's the deal?
Well, looks like the Banelings didn't go off on much. A couple of Zerglings did get popped off, but a second Oracle comes to their front lines. It looks like he will hold the Hellions, and this team will live to see another day. The nice thing is, True's actually got a huge worker lead because of the way he had opened this up. So despite the losses he's taking right now, as soon as he can get back to mining, his economy is going to look pretty darn good.
Yeah. As far as aggression goes, that could have gone a lot worse. It was probably perfectly fine. Maybe dedicating more units is not worth it now.
This is going to be 4 Oracles.
Yes, that is terrifying. That is the most terrifying part.
Hellions and Zerglings just don't stand a chance at coming up this ramp. All he has to do really is hold position.
Yeah, I mean, SuperNova and Symbol, you did great damage. That was a cool composition. You killed a lot of Lings and a couple of probes. Like, now's the time to give up, defend, and go on to the next stage. And hopefully they have a next stage in mind.
Well, interestingly enough, when you look at the resources lost, Symbol actually lost a little bit more than True. And that's, of course, because of how expensive Banelings are with that gas investment. But I like that they didn't pull. Like, it would have been so easy for Patience to just pull and go across the map, try and go with 4 Oracles and get a massive amount of damage done, but instead leaves 2 at home because he knows there's the potential of the Hellions possibly sneaking by or the Lings running around. So playing it smart and playing it safe.
Yeah. Bringing on the gold rocks is really good. They could kill those Lings that are breaking them down.
Yeah, but I think that would kind of be like a waste of energy, to be honest.
Well, if you can't get anything else, then you're gonna die to a Widowmine.
Don't think you saw that right away, so a little bit sad to see. But the air control coming out of Patience, this was to be expected going into this, and the Phoenixes are quite a nuisance. Picking off some Overlords, they'll be able to start Graviton beaming up things later on. And this is where it gets a little bit frustrating too for SuperNova. This is, you know, Mr. Mech. He's playing bio this game, of course, but any tanks he invests into, they're going to get Graviton beamed. Any medevacs he makes are going to get focused down by the Phoenix. Chances are Symbol doesn't build a lot of Hydras or Roaches this game, so not really able to complement that. But Roaches and Hydras, oh my god, with medevacs, I think would be pretty damn scary.
Well, that would be a good composition.
Like, any amount of bio peppered in with it is kind of whatever, but like Roaches and Hydras are so strong already. The glass cannon effect is what makes them weak, and if you could heal up that damage, ooh.
I like True's game plan here better than Symbol's. It's kind of what happened the last time we cast these guys. Like, Symbol is sticking on Lings, especially on this map where you're guaranteed to have 2 pretty safe bases. There are other 2v2 maps where the second base is a lot more vulnerable, and he just lost all of his aggressive power because of Baneling. Yeah,
nicely positioned Baneling's ready to catch that. I didn't even see them coming, but runs right into them. It's kind of like the high ground ramp effect, I guess we can call it. But back at home, Symbol is going towards the hatchery, or sorry, the lair tech. So he's not getting stuck. He's not getting bogged down on what's been going on in this game. Workers count for both players are pretty close across the board.
There's the Roach Ward. I was really like, the only other option would have been, well, maybe Infestors. We haven't seen that as Swarm Host, which I think that was just circumstantial. But Mutas would not be so great against someone who's going Phoenixes, right? So Roach Hydra had to be the best plan for Symbol.
Yeah, but even then, it's going to be kind of difficult. Even with the Marine Fire to cover the Hydra production, it's getting... between Oracles and Phoenix, everything here is anti-Hydra. That's great.
Kind of, yeah. In a weird way. Maybe SuperNova could actually go back into maybe a Thor. Might be helpful.
I'm loving the tango that's coming down the middle of the map. But Colossus, actually. Ooh, I didn't realize we were transitioning out of air for Patience. Colossus is going to be a great asset to have. Phoenix is starting to dive in for some kills. As screw caution to the wind, or throw caution to the wind. But the gold-based economy from True, which is not only just benefit him, he can send Patience a lot of that money if he needs it.
True. I'm surprised that SuperNova and Symbol haven't taken their gold base. I thought SuperNova would have enough to defend it, but not feeling confident.
I think with the amount of Lings that have been running around, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, like, you can't really get workers out there to build anything on location. Thanks to the Phoenixes.
You would have to protect it with everything that he had. Well, at the very least, you could build a command center in his base, you know? Tearing things.
True, yeah. Yeah, just tearing things. But the composition from SuperNova and Symbol, again, it's kind of rough around the edges. I really don't know how I feel about Roach Marine Tank. I feel like the range on the Marines and the Roaches are both so small in the first place. It's going to be really difficult to get everything on the front lines fighting at the same time.
Yeah.
And again, kind of going back to the point that you can Graviton beam up these tanks pretty easily. Doesn't even need to kill them, just needs to remove them from the fight because they're the only threat to the Colossus.
Looks like SuperNova and Symbol, they're just going to go for 2 base all in. 4 base all in, which they just worked for Crank and Heart.
2 base each all in.
There you go.
True's still expanding. I mean, I love watching True play.
True's army supply. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's the benefit of having that gold base. Roaches are incredibly mineral dependent. But I love. This was kind of true in the Alima League too. True just expands like nuts if he gets the opportunity for it. But yeah, this fight not going to go so hot for him because there are tanks. Where's those Graviton beams? There they are to Patience. Removes the one true threat to the Roaches, and the Colossus should be able to just beat that damage he needs. And this composition gets absolutely smothered from both sides. Roaches from the front lines, Zealots on the other side, Roaches coming in from the back. And that's pretty much it. That shuts this down. As they retreat back home, it's not even like a tank line in defense will cut it because we just had that tank line broken so easily on the front lines.
Yeah. Yeah. This game's...
I would have really liked to have seen Hydras because the thing is the Marines would have buffered. There would have been that nice layering. You'd have the Marines on the front lines, the Hydras right behind them, and the tanks behind them. Oh my goodness, that would have been so sexy to see.
Yeah, but we had the same... I mean, I think they had the same problem before, or someone else did, where they didn't consider the Colossus, so there's no anti-air. The tanks could have been the anti-Colossus force, but they were picked up. You needed Vikings or something to really take care of the tanks here.
It's really weird seeing Protoss and Zerg work together like this, but laser beams and Roaches, they're cutting it. Now, a lot of the army actually dies, and this wasn't quite a cakewalk for Team deadpixels, but still a very definitive lead at the moment. As they push back another base, True is sitting on 4. We got Patience on 3. If they don't win it right here, they will over the course of the next 5 minutes, just through economy alone.
Yeah, True on 4 bases is pretty sick.
True on 4 bases, and 2 of which are gold, no less. Just
oh, I didn't even notice that.
The income out of True is just it's putting everyone else to shame on the map. But Time Warp gonna go down. The Colossus has still been somewhat untouched throughout most of this.
It's too bad. 2 Vikings would be able to take down everything now the Phoenixes are dead.
Yeah, it's kind of funny as Zealots and Roaches are going to protect this, but a little too late for that, I think. The front lines are starting to get broken. A tank sieges up, but it's not going to be enough. The Roaches zoning out the Roaches, giving the Colossus that artillery fire in the back. Zealots, I mean, they haven't really been used so far, but as soon as he puts us on the front lines, he's waiting for charge to finish. I think that's when he pushes in and wins.
Yep, we get on top of those tanks. There's a Widow Mine that is nicely placed. We'll get a huge chunk of their shields and health.
It'll be like an EMP blast, so does he have anything to actually kill? Oh my god, True.
Colossus. Yeah, True, just coming across the map here, and the Colossus still being untouched.
So here's the question: how is True possibly spending his money? How is he not floating 7,000 minerals right now? Because normally
Patience might be asking for money.
That would be actually a pretty smart move. But the Zealots are going to charge in, and the Widow Mine's not going to get much done. Soaking those shots for the Colossus to advance forward. Perhaps getting a little bit overzealous because he doesn't wait for True's army. But at the same time, might not need to. Just walks right underneath the Colossus, walks through the army. A couple of tanks going to go down. It looks like Team SuperSymbol are going to tap out. And Team deadpixels will take game number 1.
I kind of hope that these teams are yelling at each other like, you're wearing me